Welcome to today's analysis. We are opening the medical case file on a microscopic threat that has literally plagued humanity for centuries. We're talking, of course, about measles. In this deep dive, we're going to trace the complete profile of this highly contagious virus from its microscopic origins all the way to our incredible global medical triumphs. Let's get right into it. Here's how we're breaking this down today. First, causes and the pathogen. Then, transmission and incubation. Third, primary symptoms. Fourth, severe complications and risks. And finally, number 5, vaccines and global prevention.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, causes and the pathogen.
Now, a lot of people get confused about what actually causes illnesses like this. To be clear, measles is not caused by a bacteria, it's not a fungus, and it's definitely not a protozoa. It is caused by a highly, highly contagious virus. Specifically, we're looking at a virus called morbillivirus. It belongs to the Paramyxoviridae family. I know, it's quite a mouthful. But that right there is the true microscopic culprit behind the disease. Moving right along to Section 2, transmission and incubation. So how exactly does this invisible threat travel? Well, its primary mode of transmission is the air. That's right, it's airborne. It doesn't need to hitch a ride in your water, your food, or your blood. This virus leaps from person to person through the air at an incredibly rapid pace. And you know, this airborne stealth is exactly why measles spreads like wildfire and is considered such a terrifyingly contagious disease. Let's move to and see how this builds progressively inside the body. It happens in a few distinct steps. Step 1 is the incubation period, which usually lasts anywhere from 10 to 14 days. During this window, the virus is just silently setting up its base. You wouldn't even know it's there. Then Step 2 kicks in. This is marked by a very specific symptom called Koplik spots. These are tiny, distinct spots that actually pop up on the inside of the patient's cheek. Finally, we hit Step 3. Which brings the emergence of that classic familiar rash. It almost always starts up high, on the face and right behind the ears, before creeping downward to cover the rest of the body. Which brings us to Section 3, primary symptoms. Recognizing the true clinical signs once the virus takes hold is absolutely crucial. So what are we looking for? On one side, we have the actual primary symptoms. We're talking about a severe cough, a constantly running nose, a really high fever, and distinctly red eyes, which in medical terms we call conjunctivitis. But on the flip side, we have to rule out things that explicitly are not caused by measles. For example, high blood pressure. Knowing this exact difference is essential to getting the right diagnosis. Let's transition to Section 4, severe complications and risks. Now, I want you to think about this deeply for a moment. What do you suppose is the leading cause of death from the measles virus? Is it that soaring high fever? Or is it something else entirely? The answer is pneumonia. You see, measles doesn't typically cause things like liver cirrhosis or kidney failure. But pneumonia, that is the most common severe complication. And ultimately, it is the primary cause of death in measles patients. It's a very real, very serious threat. And you know who faces the absolute highest risk for these lethal complications? It's predominantly unvaccinated children. When we look at the data, vaccinated individuals and adults sit quite comfortably in a much, much lower risk category. So it becomes glaringly obvious, doesn't it? The easiest, most vulnerable targets for this virus are literally the kids who just haven't received the vaccine. But there is incredibly good news. Let's look at Section 5, vaccines and global prevention. And this brilliantly illustrates our primary prevention strategy, The ultimate medical weapon we've developed against this pathogen is, of course, vaccination, specifically the MR or MMR vaccine. Now, MMR stands for measles, mumps, and rubella. Just think about that for a second. A single vaccine creating an absolute powerhouse of a defense against 3 completely distinct, terrifying diseases. How amazing is that? Plus, alongside the vaccine, providing vitamin A actually plays a really crucial supportive role during treatment to help a patient fully recover. Let's take a quick look back at history to really celebrate this human triumph. Before 1963, a brilliant scientist named John Enders successfully isolated the morbilvirus. This was an absolutely monumental breakthrough, a real game changer. That set the stage for the historic year of 1963, when the very first measles vaccine was officially invented. And today? Well, the World Health Organization is working tirelessly on global control initiatives. Their goal is to make sure this disease can never, ever trigger a global pandemic again. We've reached the end of our investigation today, but I want to leave you with a provocative thought. With the miraculous power of the MMR vaccine right here in our hands, are we really doing enough globally to protect every single unvaccinated child from this entirely preventable threat? It's a vital question, and seeking the answer is up to all of us. I hope this deep dive has given you a clear, structured understanding of the measles virus. Stay curious and keep exploring the world of medicine with us.